second game as we get into champ select here. We're already neck deep into it as we do end up having JDG on the blue side again, TT on the red side. They will have that Lucianami yet again. The Karma as well making its face shown.
Exactly.
The Smolder was hovered for a little bit, but not going to be locked.
Very similar drafts so far, right? I mean, obviously TT took away the Xin Zhao, so that's different, which means JDG are going to have a different jungler. They've already opted in to a different mid laner in the Karma. So we're going to keep trying to maintain that presence in Prio and mid to set up for Kanavi to make plays. We do have both Cassante and the Aatrox left open. If they want, you know, more dive, more backline access, Cassante would be good. But if they still have faith that Flandre can find those kills, maybe making their way back to that pick is good. Lee Sin available, another one that we saw earlier in the day, the Rel, still on the cards as well. It feels like its Prio has fallen down a little bit, but still an incredibly strong champion in the 5v5s.
And in Kanavi's hands, not too shabby. It's in its own right. So it gives you a ton of setup, ton of CC and engage potential, and that's what they'll lock in. So it's not a typical combo with the Karma where you usually see like a Lee Sin, a Xin Zhao, things like that, but it is going to be a very tough team fight to deal with for TT.
Yeah, and you still have things like if they want to go back to the Gwen, that's available. Then you have like the double shroud coming in, but no, wanting to go towards the Cassante this time. So trying to, you know, find access onto the back line, trying to potentially take people like Kanavi or Flandre out of the fight if they find themselves too deep into the back line. So yeah, interesting that we ended up in very similar places with kind of very small twists to each comp from game one.
Yeah, I think that's the curious thing to me is like, we haven't necessarily seen that many crazy changes in the meta, and I don't think that was going to be the case anyways, but we haven't really seen the flexibility that I feel like 14-4 was supposed to bring us. We've seen a lot of the tried and trues coming through. I think for TT, that's okay.
We've seen flexibility in different ways, like the last IG comp with, you know, the Sejuani Renekton in Italy, so... But
they're revisiting, maybe trying to get an advantage over the lack of range there, but Ruler seemed to handle a lot of it just fine as we get into game 2 here. Let's hear those Gios!
I like the soul of the TT Gios. You can kind of hear like the individual voices kind of like mixed in, right? Which shows the passion in the dedication
yes.
of the TT faithful.
Yes, definitely not the fact that there's more JDG fans in the arena.
It's in Beijing. What do you expect?
I didn't expect anything differently. But, you know, it just feels a little bit like you gotta yell a little bit louder for the TT fans, and rightfully they did. Getting a nice energetic start for their team, but I need them to have energy in this one.
What I need is you to be like the lead cheerleader for one of the teams, because if there's one thing everyone could say about you, you got the energy and you got the excitement, you got enough for everyone.
We do that all the time at the LCS. If you ever hear like the cheers, if me and my roommate Kangas are there, we're always trying to get people to cheer. It's very fun. I want to go to an LPL game and be a crowd member, right? We got to go to Xi'an, but you didn't get to go hang out in the crowd, do all the cheers. I was cheering from the desk when we were there every time that I could. It's just so cool to see that energy not only given by the players, but also felt and reciprocated by the fans.
Yeah, I remember the Worlds that had the group stage in New York. Yeah. I remember there's a lot of LPL fans there, and, you know, they were going crazy. But we will hone in a bit to this game because we've already seen Kanavi go with some aggressive jungling, stealing away Beichuan's blue. They have some deep wards in their jungle, so they've had tabs on him this whole time. It's already starting off JDG to a really good start. Another thing I want to hone in on real quick is, never mind.
The 90 caliber net going a little bit wide, but still has some of that range advantage there that the Caitlyn offers in the matchup.
So able to find some good trades early on. We know TT's bot lane were able to do this last game too. It was kind of once we got a few levels under our belt where Ruler and Missing started to take over. But we have the fleet on Ucal this time instead of the Grasp. Should signal that we're going more towards a standard like Lichbane Azir route with the AP rather than the tank.
And I'm curious to see how that build kind of works out. Some of those things have been pretty fun. Beichuan did make it around to try to get onto Ruler. They don't have the follow-up there. Now Kanavi's in position. I don't think they want to go for it with the health bars of Ruler and Missing.
No, not wanting to go with that one. And again, there's going to be some sustain on both sides. The Nami for the Lucian, but the Fleet for 1xN. Beichuan still waiting in the wings.
It's not Twitch, but sneaky, sneaky.
I like how neither jungler's even been on, like, don't even care about the top sides right now.
Yeah. Hey, who's going to move first? Beichuan going for the long con here. See if Missing and Ruler want to step back up. We'll end up just going for the Scuttle Crab. This was all planned, just waiting for the Scuttle Crab to spawn.
Yeah, going for this one. Might even have time to wrap up towards that top side if he doesn't have an inkling that Kanavi's, because we know Kanavi's not up there yet. Beichuan might have been under the assumption that he'd do red and make his way up there, though.
And I do find the story of Beichuan a little interesting here, and obviously a big part to the come up of FPX Blaze from the LDL was called over in summer 2022 over to at least TT, and has been here ever since and been trying to make something happen. I feel like not at times the most cohesive, aggressive jungler we have.
No, I think Beichuan's like definitely had a lot of periods of struggle in LPL. When he came in onto the FPX roster, right, he was really known as kind of the AP jungle guy, especially as Karthus was his bread and butter. Now might get punished in this 1v1 by Kanavi, who already has the experience lead over him.
That's what happens when you go against some of the best, against the pillar of JDG.
I love that he's not
see them
stopping.
spotted out.
Yeah, I mean, you have prio top, you have prio mid, you still have level advantage. You can just keep going with this.
Who knew that you could just skirmish super early as the Rel? You don't need a Xin Zhao. You just need confidence.
You need confidence, you need lane prio, and you need to have that ability on
No,
so.
just stop it at the confidence. That's all.
But still, like, he's only going to further this experience league too, right? He's just stolen away a few camps. He's now going to be able to start getting a go-ahead on these grubs. He might be able to find an insurmountable lead that Beichuan won't be able to match.
Rel with the Shattering Strikes is so good at taking the grubs because you could just immediately cancel out the... but he didn't actually have it up, so he can't do it. Anyways, typically you can. There's a double bubble there from Missing, and Toil and Trouble is TT.
Yeah, are going to have to back off in the end. Ruler does still end up missing out on a lot of CS, so 1xN and qiuqiu seem to be faring better in this game 2 in the 2v2 rather than they did in game 1. They were finding plates in that first game, but they weren't really chunking Ruler and missing out of lane all that often.
That's true, and I think that was the saving grace. That's why I kind of highlighted 1xN. You know, you are going against the best, if not one of the best ADCs in the LPL, and getting to see him kind of flex his muscles in ways. Not the Caitlyn, I feel like, isn't the best flex so far, but trying to get this duo off the ground, and qiuqiu giving him a little bit of support.
Oh, nice flash from Yagao, not to get pushed back by the ult from Ucal. I like that TT were trying to find a heads-up play, and now, the return play is always possible, especially once that ult comes back up.
See, complete focus around this mid lane. That mantra Q for Yagao can do a decent amount of trading on Ucal here. But it feels a lot like last game. We're getting a lot of respect given over. Yes, those grubs went over, but now we have a dragon on the other side, and both junglers not really wanting to give up pressure that much on this side of the map, at least.
No, I feel like Kanavi's done such an exceptional job in this early game to just shut Beichuan out so far. I mean, finding a meaningful CS lead, got all 3 grubs, going to be able to get first strike of the game too, which is going to give Ruler Missing a lot more confidence to trade aggressively. So right now, this is Kanavi's world. This is Kanavi's bakery, and TT's the bread.
Ooh, I want to know. What is Kanavi baking? Is it a croissant? Is it... What do you think? What kind of baking does he do?
I don't know what it's called.
Knuckle sandwiches?
There was always this, really nice, it was like, I don't know, like a custard or a pudding bread that I would get when I was living in Shanghai. I want to imagine it's that, just because it was delicious.
Okay. Well, I think he's more of a croissant guy, but, teach their own, I guess. And I'm sure he's baking multiple things.
I mean, there are 5 members of TT's bubble.
Oh, no. 1xN, he will pop the flash and that barrier.
So far, again, it isn't all overpowering or in your face, but it's just kind of these small controlled things where JDG, gold might be even, but it definitely feels like they've been in control of the map for all 8 minutes of these games so far.
That would be kind of what you'd expect on paper coming into this matchup. Again, a bit of an underdog story. A time for TT to try to prove themselves against one of the top of the table. So far, those answers not coming to their minds, at least. We did get a little bit of proxy farming from Hoya, so at least something there. Ucal now trying to make a play on the Yagao. He is a Karma. Not very easy to take down.
I like the attempt, though, right? Because you went for this play before. You got the flash out. You now have Empress Divide up again. You look for the repeat. Yagao just, I mean, too smart knowing that it's showing up. And again, like we said, JDG, only them and BLG have one loss. So them really being the front runners, heading towards those buys as we've hit the halfway point of the split. Hell, JDG are the only team that haven't played, you know, at least 8 series. The only team that haven't hit the halfway point is them.
And I'm sure they'll be rightfully happy to get some of these games under their belt to kind of catch up, see where they really stand as we get closer and closer to the playoffs here in the LPL. Again, these are only singular matchups that you have to take down. So JDG, as I was saying earlier, like just trying to handle business and take down a struggling TT. TT not ones to give up the fight. A much closer game going to 10 minutes now. Not as many plates and things being bled out. And Beichuan going for a play on bot side. Wind does become lightning, but the culling is unleashed and Ruler clears the wave.
I thought they might still be a little bit more ambitious and actually just try to follow up on Beichuan connecting the W, at least find one. But yeah,
there has to be a very, like, I wish I could talk to all the coaches or at least like some of the players in the LPL, because I just want to know what the mindset is around grubs. We've seen so many fully one-sided grub takes tonight, and it feels like a return to when we came into season 14, right? The first like couple weeks of LPL, we consistently didn't see people contesting for these.
I feel like it makes more sense in some of the drops we've seen. Is Beichuan gonna be found out?
Yeah, he's just getting everything used on him. Does end up popping the Crescent Guard, trying to still go for the red buff here too. He's under vision. Now that he's lost the Crescent Guard, the rest of TT will make him able to take that buff.
The big thing was that Kanavi was just in base at the time. Ucal started to hover over as well, so it could have very quickly been a 4v3 in favor of TT. So I think good call by JDG not to commit too much. Hell, TT are even starting to roam down now, but there's a ton of wards on JDG's side.
Beichuan's going to find out missing. Instant flash there, but look at Kanavi. Goes in for the combo, and here comes Yagao, too, to find some support. qiuqiu making it, but the burn is not going to be enough. Missing, goes down first. First blood for TT.
Yeah, great job by TT. I mean, even pulling the TP out from Yagao, and they get the kill on top of it. So nice small win for them. Picking up the first kill of the game is huge. When JDG have been kind of controlling the map so far, it's nice if TT can start getting more gold under their belts and actually opting into more fights.
And it gives a little bit more strength to Beichuan, who desperately needs it in a matchup against Kanavi.
Yeah, we're going to see here Missing wanting to get a ward down, not yet seeing the Azir. That's where the flash got blown. Great job by Kanavi to lock multiple members of TT down. qiuqiu surviving on a knife's edge, but it's here with Missing. Right, we just saw him use his flash, so very easy for Ucal to follow through with the setup.
Oh, Ucal gets stunned. CC chained down, but the bubble is not going to be followed up on. He does make it out with his flash burn.
Stormrazor picked up by both AD carries now, with 1xN coming out from base, so the potential for action is ever present. It has been TT maintaining bot side pressure, and it's funny because even though they actually did force Ruler out of lane once this game, they haven't been as successful in being able to find plates.
It's a very big difference from the last game. Hoya going for a play, a nice little combo into Flandre, gonna burn his flash there.
Gonna be able to get that one. We'll see if they could punish him anymore. I mean, Beichuan's already up towards the side of the map, but seems like should be able to go for that reset to finish off his first item. Hoya already incredibly low as it is. Looks like Beichuan not actually gonna be able to finish up and be able to pick up that Sundered Sky, but is really close.
Get a plate over to Flandre up there. Dragon is up. Kanavi, 100% objective control so far. We'll see if that does continue for JDG. They will move away from this, move away from their bot lane collectively for now.
We don't have Malignance finished for Yagao just yet. I wonder if that will affect their option of fighting, considering we do have Nashers for Ucal. A lot might just be down to how many Mantra Qs Yagao can land on Ucal before this fight starts.
I mean, Cream was a monster with it in our last series, and Yagao trying to represent his own right. Kanavi was threatening the Hex Flash over the wall, but we'll end up just going for the back instead. You did have Beichuan down this way. See if he actually wants to bring Ucal down as well. They are moving.
Oh. A lot of Fog of War to play with. Do find good trades. This might open them up to be able to start this dragon. But Hoya's actually already started to walk down too. Flandre finally going to be on his way, but a bit of a tempo advantage for TT.
Hoya just going to walk straight across mid lane. I think TT were just trying to make the play onto it now. They're going to ping back down to the dragon, but some priority has been gained by JDG bot side, and they should be able to utilize that to play pretty safe.
It's such a push and pull. It's so weird to see for second dragon, both top laners, all 5 members just making their way down to this Drake.
Flandre is here. Oh, he gets caught a little bit there, though. Kanavi with the Magnet Storm already popped. They're trying to take Beichuan. They get him. Flandre, ace in the hole, blocked. He's healing, but it doesn't matter. It goes down anyways. Hoya is unstoppable right now, but they're going to turn back around. Missing is down. Ucal picks up the kill at TT. They're finally finding some fights.
Yeah, and kind of wasting that ult up towards Ucal and Hoya while 1xN is just running him down. So TT actually being a lot more advantageous in this early game. They've been a lot more calm. They've been trying to counterpunch what JDG have been throwing at them, and it's working a lot better than what felt like just some kind of over-aggressive or even at times too passive plays. Once we got into the mid-game, some is kind of the right amount. Is Beichuan went down so fast, Kanavi with the Magnet Storm, blocking him down for so long. A bit sad that Yagao misses with the Q. And then Hoya starts to disengage. I understand wanting to throw your ult upwards because you're going to assume that they might start running down again and they have a control ward in that brush, but it gave 1xN the freedom to be able to run forward and help Ucal finish off that kill himself.
He just can't get him on qiuqiu to connect the initial damage. Doesn't get him follow up there. But as you can see, that's the craziness of Malignance. He's literally able to use it constantly now. See if he can at least stand the test of a little bit of TT's anger towards him in the side lane.
Malignance is something that's also been changed since, 14.2. I actually got changes on 14.3 and 14.4. The cost has been brought down, but some of the burn damage, your AP ratio has been reduced. But at the same time, the next patch, you got more ability haste. So maybe losing a bit of damage, but gaining the ability haste, gaining a bit of a cheaper item. So there is the trade-off. Karma herself also got a small nerf on her Mantra Q. The explosion damage, not as much. But still seeing today, very potent champion.
Oh, yeah.
Does its job. It pushes waves and gives shields.
And what's crazy is this is picked without like a tried and true duo as well. Like typically we have been constantly seeing the Karma with like a Xin Zhao or a Lee Sin, things like that even earlier, right? But it is something with a little bit more damage now, but also trying to be a little bit supportive towards Kanavi. Now moving up towards this top Scuttle Crab, needs to try to maybe find something on the map as the resets do come through.
There's so much vision on the map for JDG, though. I mean, look at their vision line just going completely across the map. They have, more defensive vision for bot side where they are just catching wave and have all that aggro vision up towards top. So having options to play with. We're still pretty far from any neutral objectives being up for JDG. We should expect them to start looking for top side because that's where all their vision is and maybe trying to get some more damage down onto Hoya. They do have all the mites to enable the pushes that they have.
Something that might come back to bite TT, and we've actually seen it come back to bite many teams today in our series so far. But again, another quiet one between JDG and TT. I think JDG really respecting TT and some of the underdog potential they have. Yagao actually gonna be taking a nice little trade against Ucal on the side. Thought maybe he might commit to that one, but not gonna do so.
And like we said, Kanavi. Looking very intimidating. Ucal going the damage AP variant of Azir this time. Maybe to even guess why, right? You're not going up against the Akali. You're not going up against the Xin Zhao. You should be looking to play in like more of a front-to-back style, and you're not expecting for JDG to find easy access to the backline. So maybe just wanting more DPS for that reason.
Flandre was a target up there. Kanavi's targeting mid lane, though. He actually finds qiuqiu out, and qiuqiu's just gone.
Just nice pick from JDG. qiuqiu kind of resting on his laurels a little bit. Now it's going to open up for damage and a siege to come through. Hell, I wonder how bold they would have been to even look for a dive. Ucal wasn't showing on wave at the time, so it could have been risky. Which is probably why JDG in the end decided not to go through with it.
Just a little back and forth nature, but we do need to see where this Rift Herald is going to be utilized now that Kanavi is going back out on the map. You have about 2 minutes for the Dragons, so preemptive setup right before that could be huge for them to get some pressure from mid lane if they want to use it there.
Yeah, we'll see. We're still a little bit away from Drake, and we're gonna get a replay of qiuqiu just going down. I mean, yeah, just not respecting the engage to be able to come through, not able to land the Q either, to try to get the knockback. It's just so easy for JDG, which, kind of speaking of JDG, is the game's been a bit slower. I feel like anytime we want to talk about something, though, Mazel's when this stuff happens.
Woo! qiuqiu almost going down there. Actually won't end up biting the dust, but there is that distraction Rift Herald in the mid lane.
I'm going to go for this, be able to break this one down. Might even be able to follow up on the push that this allows. Again, we're still a little bit ways away from Dragon. They do also have the opportunity to start getting vision control set up in bot side because they don't have any wards down there just yet. I think getting some aggressive vision pushed in would give them more room to play with.
We have Dragon coming up about 40 seconds. See if that pressure in mid lane does end up in leading in any advantage for them there. TP already coming down though, Lyric.
I think this is good, right? Because we saw in game one, there was times when JDG committed to River too early, and TT were making really good use of zoning them out from walking back with Caitlyn Azir. So just going for the TP right now, not even allowing for the presence mid to come through from TT is a nice adaptation from what we saw from JDG in game one.
You're already seeing, not even on 2 items, 1xN are doing like half of Missing's health there with Nathan in the hole too. They are pushing onto a tier 2, and some of that attack speed really coming to bear for Ucal. An answer might need to be there for JDG.
And the fact that Flandre TP down to bot as well means that they keep going with this, bringing Hoya too.
They get the turret actually, which is huge. Dragon is up on the other side, but now JDG might be collapsed on a back coming through to try to protect bottom side for TT now that Hoya's going.
And look at Ucal, he's still going. What looked like a good adaptation from JDG actually turned to be completely a great play by TT, instantly recognizing the TP, saying, hey, actually, we don't have to fight you for this mid prio to get the Dragon. It's 1 Dragon apiece. Let's just try and equalize the gold. And they did it now, even being slightly up themselves.
And that's something to write home about against JDG for sure. Dragon number 2, though, to JDG will end up going down. A little protection from the team. No real response there to try to contest it. And JDG starts stacking. It is an Infernal Soul as well.
I mean, I love the kind of preemptive contest they did just by taking their whole top side. Wasn't expecting TT to make moves like that, and it's small things like that, right, that can help lead TT towards wins. We pointed out the JDG vision earlier. TT's a lot more scattered, a lot more hectic, but at least denying JDG from having any real presence in terms of the information game.
Yeah, I think that is a big difference, right? And I do wonder, especially now that we're getting to a place kind of reminiscent of last game where TT haven't gotten the biggest advantage. They have an advantage. I'll give them that. But again, JDG are a team that you have to make sure you put in the ground. The double tap rule definitely is there.
Especially when we now, once again, have Ruler rapid fire cannon partway through to his next item with the BF sword. He's really going to be putting up the huge damage as we move forward. Still, Ucal, no slouch himself, 2.5 items, kind of matching Ruler's pace, and now 1xN with the IE. It feels like TT are definitely in a much better place map-wise than they were last game, but the fact that mid lane tier outer is already broken down, it just gives them so much presence on the map to really be able to rotate in the enemy jungle like this and just keep mounting that pressure into TT.
And I think that's a little bit of time to give some perspective on Ucal. I know we talked about him so much, lauding him for his performances last year. This was a guy who was literally trying to drag his team across the finish line in a lot of their series last year, and a lot of it didn't work out. I don't feel the same power this year from Ucal in that fashion, but when you see a little moments where they're able to hang toe-to-toe with JDG, and Ucal is a big part of that, it does give you that reminiscent time.
I feel like the problem is you've lost the Ucal posse. Like, anyone who's watched TT over these past few years, since like 2022 when Ucal came in, and you know, Hoya coming in, I think a split after Beichuan, similar time. It was all about Ucal, Beichuan, and Yao working as a 3-man unit and enabling their mid laner. We don't see that anymore from TT.
Trying to still make it known here that they can carry through mid lane. 1x in, no, it gets pounced on. He just didn't expect it. And that's a big pick-off for JDG.
I was going to say they're potentially getting pinched with Ucal and Beichuan making their way around, but realizing, yo, with our Caitlyn dead, we do not feel confident looking for this fight. They're going to start leaning towards Baron, and Flandre's TP is up very soon.
Well, they're going to start it now. Yagao showing up in mid lane. Maybe there's a little bit of a bait. They will be seen doing the Baron. And here comes Beichuan running across the rift to try to get here.
I love that Flandre's holding off. Finally comes in through with it.
They got the long distance TP from Flandre. Oh my god, he just chokes JoJo. Oh, that's what I call a damage Aatrox build, baby. As now Kanavi wants to continue the tidal wave on top, hits 2 members, and that's some CC chain from hell and a Hoya. He's trying to get back, but he can't get back enough. Yagao claims the kill at a breath's notice, and that's JDG turning it all around and taking the advantage.
And luckily, their only member who got chunked is their one member with TP, so they can just look to turn towards Baron again.
You give JDG an inch, they take a mile, and that is ever so present here. It was so tight, it was so in favor of TT, but it doesn't matter because JDG are a strong beast. 1xN stepping up to Ruler there, though. Does have some strength of his own, hitting that 2.5 item spike, too.
You know, I'm sure there's some, like, really philosophical quotes out there about how, like, fear is good for you and teaches you the things to stay away from. I feel like qiuqiu needs to go look up some of those quotes right now, because him walking into challenge that TP from Flandre was kind of ridiculous.
He just got literally 3-tapped there in the end, and poor little Emilio.
I don't know what he expected. He's Emilio.
That's what the Profane Hydra will do for the Aatrox builds now. Look at that, though. I think TT getting something back is good. They do get an outer tower in mid lane to make that 4 turrets for them. They will trade back one in the top side to Flandre. He doesn't have TP, but the reset meaning that TT don't want to contest for the dragon.
Walks up, a bit unfortunate, runs into the raid boss. That is Flandre. I wonder if he didn't have his map hovered over that and didn't know that he was coming in, but I feel like he should have, as then it just left TT easy to run the rest of TT down. And now we can see Baron finally on the cards. Can Beichuan find a steal? Doesn't have flash.
Trying to get the turret, at least turn around here if he can. They are going to force JDG off. Ruler stepping up there. Baron reset. Now JDG look for a little bit of safety in mid lane. Ruler steps forward. That's really scary as now that's a big re-engage from Kanavi, but Beichuan, his Crescent Guard's going to go down and all that damage is about to come his way. There it is. The culling is enough and Ruler claims the kill.
Beichuan got absolutely baited by Ruler's aggression and kind of left in an awkward position. It's going to set up now for JDG to get their hands on their 3rd Drake of the game and get them ever so closer to the Infernal Soul.
What did I say, though, man? Watching Ruler play these champions is like watching no other person. The line that he plays on is so thin, but it's so deadly.
I'm interested to see him, especially this year, because I felt like with the JDG roster last year, there was a lot more breathing room for Ruler to have slow games and not for him have to be the carry. Now with this JDG squad, with Flandre coming in, again, not someone who's as known as a big carry, even if, again, a Flandre I think still is an upper echelon elite top laner in the LPL. He's a world champion for a reason. Yagao as well, is someone you cannot count out, but I definitely think Ruler needs to be more on this year than he was last year. So that's why looking at this split holistically, I think it's going to be such a fun ride to follow Ruler and Missing's journey.
It really is, and the ride's already fun just now. 2-0-2 on the man himself. He has hit that 3rd item spike as well. With that IE completed, should be backing probably now for his boots. As actually doesn't look like he has enough for it. So he's still in the paper bags. It's okay though. He's got a lot of dashes.
Nothing wrong with the paper bags,
Yeah. I'm not shaming.
People still use them as
they're free paper bags too.
Exactly. Yeah, it's the best part. Who doesn't want free things? Which is why for JDG, I'm wondering how they're looking at TT right now. Do they see TT as free? Do they look for the aggression? Or do they pay their respect? Because all 5 members of TT are actually here once again.
Flandre, he has TP, no wards to really speak of besides up north of this fight. Kanavi getting dragged back. Hoya going for it. Ruler is the focus, and Ucal knows that. He gets a big chunk on him there.
Yeah, I mean, TT definitely showing them they're not free with Ruler paying the price. Oh, are they going to go for the Baron turn here? They have to pay attention to bot. Flandre is pushing that inner turret.
Push actually seeded by TT. JDG are the ones that take primary position. A tier 2 tower now being pushed. Oh, Ucal missing the combo. He does save the turret though. At least.
And Flandre did have to flash. It didn't really appear very well there on the screens with the angle that we went in, but at least gets the flash from him. Culling comes out.
Hoya blocking a ton of that though, as Beichuan was waiting around the corner just in case he wanted to turn the wind into lightning. Ruler again, he's playing like a forward tank on this Lucian, realizing he can play so aggressively.
He's gonna end up backing off in the end, and TT just constantly get into these positions where they seem to be like, yo, we need to farm up, we need to be able to hit our next item breakpoints before we're willing to fight. And it seems like every time we see TT, they're just willing to give too much breathing room and too much control over to the other side. They're going to have 2 more minutes to wait, buy time, and hopefully get towards next items for Dragon. I wonder if Ucal just going to try and go with a Rabadon's next and get as much damage as possible, not having to worry as much about backline access. I feel like we've seen JDG kind of struggle to get on top of TT's members, which is why there isn't a whole ton of kills this game, right? Like, when either team gets engaged on, either team is fairly reliably, there we go, been able to run away.
Well, Beichuan's going to start up the Baron here as well. TP coming in from TT, but they get bubbled up too. Kanavi is right here. Tidal wave onto multiple members. Now Hoya has been left. He got kind of baited by his jungler. The fight still turning out in JDG's favor right now, tanking out the health bars of TT.
But you see either team fairly reliably able to run away, as we saw from TT there. I thought Beichuan might be in a bit more trouble once the bubble connected. It's like, okay, he's going to be CC'd for a long time, but did have that ult to really save him in the end. Now, Mazel, 1 minute until Dragon. This is going to decide everything for TT. If JDG can get their hands on this Infernal Soul, I feel like the damage will just be too much. Ruler, even just throwing out the culling, will probably get 1xn. To have to flash outright, to have to use that barrier and just be out of a fight. So, everything going to be up to TT. And I love that they keep dancing around this Baron.
Hey, I mean, you have Ucal with the attack speed build here on the Zir, and they are burning it here. That'll be a Baron sneaking away by TT.
Yeah, they just picked this one up. What a heist coming out for TT. I'm actually kind of mind blown that JDG were not ready for this whatsoever, despite having vision.
JDG a little angry, won't end up getting any pickoffs off that, and that's all 5 members from TT with the Baron buff.
Sad, if they'd been able to get it a little bit before, they could have even translated that into having pressure and like push for the Dragon, but JDG will be able to be here in time. And TT, I mean, you're still gonna have to go for the fight, right? Even with Baron, I don't think you can opt to trade pushing mid for giving up Infernal Soul.
The Infernal Soul is up. JDG in prime position. They have the Scuttle Crab there with a little bit of movement speed. TT moving in now. They're gonna start it up themselves.
Our eyes on Yagao. He's kind of singled out. Has to be careful. Beichuan always can go for the engage. Kanavi so far has really been the highlight of getting things started for JDG.
Oh, there he is getting things started again. They found 1xn, but a nice denial. Flandre's still there. Flandre gets the kill, and that's a big shutdown to the TT hopes here as well. In the fight, though, there's the all-out, but Hoya's a little too late with that one. Kanavi's trying to take him out now, too. qiuqiu brought back and taken to the arms of Flandre. As JDG, they taken 3, and they're looking for a 4th, but the shifting sands will make him out. That is Infernal Soul to JDG.
JDG don't care about the Baron that they lost anymore, because now they should have firm control of this game. Infernal Soul, look at Ruler's build already being 4 items strong with the Lucian. My God, it's going to be hard. We're going to see here, though, damage comes through. Nice CC coming out from Kanavi with that Q. Forces the cleanse immediately onto 1xn, but getting pulled back in by Flandre. It's here where I'm surprised that Ruler ends up getting away from Beichuan just in time with the flash, and Flandre just keeps being a menace on the backs of the fight, man. But I think we have to give the kudos to Kanavi for starting it off and eliminating 1xN so early.
I love that you called it at the very beginning. As soon as he burned that flash, it was instantly lighting up Flandre's eyes there. And we do see that JDG, they've wrestled full control from TT. Even if it's not that big of a lead, it's about 3,000 gold here. They have a composition that can just press your face in. There's the Rabadonska blade for Ucal. Is it gonna be enough in enough time?
I don't know. I don't think it could match, honestly, the Infernal Soul, right? Triple Infernal, you have the Soul, you already have a ton of damage coming out from your AD carry. Like, sure, you're still, I mean, you're on 3 items for Yagao, so you're still at a pretty good spot yourself, but him actually being down, I mean, obviously down 100 CS to Ucal, so Ucal a whole item ahead. I don't think it matters. Infernal Soul just feels too domineering with the strength JDG have with this composition.
Was a negative Baron play for TT.
Like, look at that. Just throws out the W, and Beichuan's already
He still doesn't
crying.
have boots, by the way. He's still chilling with the paper bags. Doesn't even need them.
No, this man doesn't need boots. He's buying swords. He's buying swords and guns.
Put swords on your feet. I mean, that's Camille. I don't think that's gonna work for a ruler. I mean, maybe, but it is a pretty good play from JDG.
I would be down to see ruler play Camille.
I want to see ruler cosplay Camille.
Okay. I don't know if you'll be able to get that one. But now we have to hone in, because JDG, they're setting up for the final siege. The final siege of the country known as ThunderTalk Gaming. And we're going to see if TT can find a way to bring it back. Because right now, it's looking pretty rough. Despite the small gold difference that JDG have found, like, seriously, just look at all this control. Having the damage from the Karma especially. I've been keeping my eyes on Yagao and him just like hit some stray Qs every now and then. Really is putting down the punishment.
And that's why I was so curious that we hadn't seen a big priority besides those bans coming in for Karma. I mean, we saw Cream got to pick that one up, Yagao now as well, showing why this champion is at least very much sought after.
Look how little the ace in the hole does to Yagao.
Yeah. It's a decent chunk, but it's not nearly the one-shot ability you want it to be.
No, it's I mean, it's not.
Ruler.
It's not this!
He almost catches out Ucal outright. Now Kanavi wants to go in, but denied by the Ultra Mega Fire Kick. Beichuan, he's getting chunked, man! And JDG are now onto the inhib tower in mid lane.
Jojo did his best with that Q, but it is not going to stop JDG. Again, JDG have a lot of series left to play in the LPL. They're the team who has played the least. And I love that they're keeping their momentum going with their performance so far. Not only in this game, but just in this series so far.
They will be trying to push into the upper rung of those 3 spots in the top dogs. As you said, not having as many games played, but some important ones I feel like gone their way as well. Already taking down NIP, LNG, obviously falling to BLG, but they still do have some tough tests ahead of them. And I think with a lead like this, they are just waiting to close it out.
Now JDG playing 3 series in Week 7 and Week 8 to try to play catch-up. That is also when they have, their kind of 2 hard matchups. TS in Week 7, IG in Week 8, I think is really where you're looking on their schedule for what's ahead. Feels weird to not include a team like Weibo in that conversation, but it kind of feels like with Weibo's performance recently, they're going to need to step up to be able to match what we've been seeing JDG do.
Will Ruler complete boots by the end of the game? Yes or no?
No, he has no reason to, and he's just going to buy more damages. Hoya does connect to Q3.
If he gets caught here, I don't know if TT can make it out alive without a frontliner like him, and he's gone. And that means Kanavi is looking forward. He goes right through the traps. He goes in for the magnet storm. At least Ucal, he gets blasted by the double guns. And now JDG, they're looking for the final pieces to this wonderful puzzle they put together.
And they are going to opt into going for the... Oh, no, they're actually going to opt for the end. They had pings going out in the bear and saying, hey, we probably don't have enough wave clear, but I love that they retool it into the push. I kind of hope they leave Flandre's TP for the turrets, but no, seems like they're still fine not needing that one. Instead, rather just looking for the dive. Eclipse now finished.
I said those 6 grubs would come back to bite TT, and it definitely looks like it's gotten very hungry, and that bite's coming for him. Another one bites the dust, and JDG are on to the Nexus. A 2-0 in their eyes, and more kills to boot. A 6-1 season for JDG so far, as we've crested the halfway point.
Great to see from JDG. I mean, 2 games, won in like very controlled fashions. It pretty much always felt like they were in control of the game, even when TT had that very significant gold lead. It felt like JDG were actually still the ones running the map, and this is like tried and true JDG. They keep up their momentum, they move to 6-1, and they're just a team that, in my mind, this is probably the team I'm either, I'd probably say most excited for to see in best of 5s.
Yeah.
Because just kind of the way their style works, I feel like they'd be a team and be able to adapt and bounce back incredibly strong, despite the fact that in the series they show they don't even need that. They don't even need time to adapt and bounce back. They can just run you over from second one.
I appreciated some of the attempts from TT, especially in draft, to trying to get some power picks for their bot lane, trying to get